Your morning blood sugar reading just doesn't make sense. You went to bed at a 135, which was perfect. You didn't eat anything during the night. You followed every rule your doctor gave you. But somehow you woke up at 178. How does that even happen? Here's what almost nobody tells you. While you were sleeping, completely unaware, your body was working against you. And the trigger wasn't food. It wasn't your medication failing. It was something invisible that happens in the hours between when you close your eyes and when you open them again. I'm Dr. Natalia Parker, and I'm going to explain this with complete clarity. What I'm about to share will sound almost too simple at first. You'll probably think you already know this, but stay with me because the timing changes everything. And I mean everything. Most people don't realize their blood sugar problems start before they even get out of bed. Before breakfast, before medication, the damage is already done by 7 a.m. and you haven't even done anything wrong yet. Think about this. You finish dinner around 7 p.m., you go to sleep around 11 p.m., you wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. That's potentially 12 hours, 12 full hours where your body hasn't had any water, not a single drop. Your blood right now, this very moment, is thicker than it should be. And when blood thickens, glucose can't move properly, it gets stuck, it accumulates. Your cells are literally drowning in sugar they can't access because the delivery system has broken down. But here's where it gets worse. After age 60, your brain stops telling you when you're dehydrated. That thirst signal you've relied on your entire life, it's failing. You can be dangerously low on fluids and feel completely normal. No dry mouth, no discomfort, nothing. Meanwhile, your glucose is climbing and you have no idea why. I had a patient named Richard who was 67 and absolutely furious when he came to see me. He pulled out this notebook, pages and pages of blood sugar readings all over the place. Same meals every day, same portions, same walking routine, same medication schedule, but his numbers jumped from 140 to 185 with no pattern whatsoever. His wife was there and she just looked exhausted. They'd been fighting this battle for years and losing ground despite doing everything perfectly. I asked Richard one simple question that changed everything. When do you drink your first glass of water each day? He stared at me like I'd asked something in a foreign language. Water? I don't know. Whenever I remember, I guess. Maybe with lunch? There it was. Richard was going from 10 p.m. until past noon the next day without hydrating. 14 hours of dehydration every single day. His blood was like syrup trying to deliver glucose that couldn't flow properly. Now I need you to understand something critical. This isn't about drinking more water randomly throughout the day. That helps, but it's not the real solution. It's about when your body receives water that determines whether your blood sugar stabilizes or spikes. Timing is the mechanism that nobody explains, and the wrong timing can actually make things worse. Let me show you what I mean. Cold water first thing in the morning sounds refreshing, right? It wakes you up, feels good. But it's triggering a response in your blood vessels that's working directly against your insulin. When you drink ice water, your vessels constrict, they narrow. Insulin can't reach the cells properly. The glucose delivery system shuts down even more. You're trying to help, but you're actually making the problem worse. The temperature of the water matters more than most people realize. Here's something else you probably don't know. Coffee on an empty stomach is sabotaging your morning blood sugar before you've eaten anything. Coffee triggers cortisol release. Cortisol tells your liver to dump stored glucose into your bloodstream. You're creating a spike before breakfast even happens. And if you're dehydrated when that coffee hits, the spike is even worse because your blood can't dilute that glucose surge. This is why so many people have inexplicable morning highs. They're doing it to themselves without realizing it. Comment where you're watching this from because I see people from all over the world dealing with these exact same patterns, and nobody ever explained the timing piece to them. But let's go deeper into what's actually happening inside your body after 60. Your kidneys don't filter glucose the same way they used to. So excess sugar stays in your bloodstream longer than it should. Your pancreas produces less insulin. The insulin you do have doesn't work as efficiently because your cells have become more resistant. You're basically fighting a war on 3 fronts with fewer resources. And if you're dehydrated on top of all that, you've just made all 3 problems significantly worse. Even mild dehydration, just 2% below optimal levels, which you cannot even feel, raises blood sugar by 10 to 15%. That's the difference between good control and poor control. That's the difference between your doctor saying everything looks fine and your doctor saying we need to increase medication. Now, here's what happens when you get the timing right. Your body has specific windows where water does the most good for blood sugar control. Miss these windows and you're just drinking water with minimal benefit. Hit these windows correctly and you can improve insulin sensitivity by up to 40%. 40%. That's massive. That means your cells respond better to the insulin you already have, whether that's your natural insulin or medication-based insulin. The first critical window is the moment you wake up. Not after your coffee, not after you check your phone, not after you use the bathroom. The absolute first thing, before anything else touches your lips. This is when your cortisol is highest. This is when your body is most dehydrated. This is when you have the most power to influence how the rest of your day will go. But here's the part that surprised me when I first learned about it. Plain water alone isn't enough in that morning window. Your cells need minerals to actually absorb and use that water. Without minerals, the water just passes through to your bladder without hydrating your cells properly. Think of it like trying to water a plant in sand. The water just runs through. The roots stay dry. You need those minerals to help your cells hold on to that water. A tiny pinch of natural sea salt in your morning water provides sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Not table salt. That's been stripped of everything useful. Real sea salt still has the trace minerals your body desperately needs. And adding lemon juice does something else important. It creates a slight acidity that helps stabilize how your body responds to your first meal. This combination, warm water with sea salt and lemon first thing in the morning, signals your adrenal glands to calm down. Lower cortisol means less glucose dumping from your liver. Lower cortisol means a better morning reading. I had a patient, Patricia, who was 71 and had been diabetic for 15 years. Her morning blood sugar was always 160 or 170, even though her evening numbers were good. She'd eat carefully at dinner. Her bedtime reading would be fine, but something was happening overnight that neither of us could figure out. We started with just this one change: warm water with a pinch of sea salt and fresh lemon. 20 minutes before her coffee, nothing else different. 3 weeks later, her average morning reading had dropped to 125. Same medication, same evening routine. The only variable was how she started her day. She told me she felt different too, more clear-headed, less foggy. That morning number gave her confidence for the whole day instead of starting defeated. The second critical window is 15 minutes before meals. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They either don't drink water at all before eating, or they drink a huge amount all at once thinking they're catching up. Both approaches fail. Your body can only absorb about 1 cup of water every 15 minutes. Anything more than that just goes straight to your bladder. It's wasted. You're not actually hydrating. But that small glass 15 minutes before lunch and dinner does something powerful. It prepares your digestive system. It stimulates enzyme production. And most importantly for blood sugar, it slightly dilutes your stomach contents. This slows down how quickly carbohydrates get absorbed into your bloodstream. When carbohydrates enter slowly instead of flooding in all at once, your insulin can actually keep up. Your blood sugar rises gently instead of spiking dramatically. Studies show this single habit can reduce after-meal spikes by up to 20%. That's huge. Robert was 74 and his lunch spikes were destroying his confidence. He'd eat a reasonable meal, nothing excessive, but 2 hours later, his glucose would be 190 or 200. We added 1 glass of water 15 minutes before lunch every single day. He set a phone alarm so he wouldn't forget. His post-lunch spikes dropped to 150, 160. Still not perfect, but significantly better. His doctor noticed immediately at the next appointment. The third critical window is during any physical activity. If you walk, garden, or move for more than 20 minutes, you need water during that movement, not just after. Small sips frequently, about half a cup every 15 minutes of activity. This keeps your blood stable and prevents the fluctuations that often happen with exercise. Add half a teaspoon of cinnamon to your water bottle during exercise. Research shows cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity. Combined with hydration during movement, it's powerful. But let me tell you what will sabotage all of this, even if you time everything perfectly. Enemy number one is distilled water. It's been completely stripped of minerals. When you drink it, it actually pulls minerals from your body to balance itself. Over time, this depletes the exact electrolytes you need for insulin function. Filtered water is fine. Tap water is fine in most places. Spring water is excellent. Just avoid water that's been demineralized. Enemy number two is drinking massive amounts all at once thinking you're catching up. Your body doesn't work that way. It's like dumping a bucket of water on a plant. The water runs off, the roots stay dry. You need steady, consistent intake throughout the day. Enemy number three is waiting until you feel thirsty. By the time your mouth feels dry, you're already significantly dehydrated. Your blood has already thickened. Your glucose is already elevated. Thirst isn't an early warning system. It's an alarm that goes off when the damage has already started. Now here's what to expect when you actually implement this correctly. First week, you'll probably feel like you're constantly using the bathroom. This is completely normal. Your body is adjusting to proper hydration after potentially years of being chronically dehydrated. This settles down by week 2. You should start seeing your morning blood sugar stabilize, maybe 10 to 15 points lower on average. Not dramatic, but consistent. By weeks 2 to 3, you'll notice more stable energy throughout the day, less of that afternoon crash that makes you want to nap. Your after-meal readings should become more predictable. By week 4, if you check your A1C, you might see it starting to trend downward. Not a massive drop, but movement in the right direction. Here's what I hear most often from patients after a month. Doctor, I just feel better. I can't quite explain it, but I feel more like myself. That's what proper hydration does. It doesn't cure diabetes, it doesn't replace medication, but it helps your body work the way it's supposed to work. Let me give you a practical system. Get a reusable bottle that holds about 24 ounces. Fill it 3 times during the day, once in the morning, once at midday, once in the afternoon. That's 72 ounces total, which is perfect for most people. Keep that bottle visible, on your counter, on your desk, in your car. Visual reminders work better than trying to remember on your own. How do you know if you're drinking enough? Look at your urine color. It should be pale yellow like lemonade. Not clear, which means you're overhydrated. Not dark yellow, which means you're dehydrated. Pale yellow is exactly right. There's one more addition that makes a significant difference. About an hour before bed, drink 1 more glass of warm water with 200 milligrams of magnesium citrate or glycinate dissolved in it. Most people over 60 are deficient in magnesium. It's crucial for insulin function. Taking it before bed serves double duty. It helps your muscles relax for better sleep, and it keeps your blood sugar more stable overnight. Helen was 69, and every morning was a battle. Good bedtime numbers, but elevated morning readings. Something was happening while she slept. We added magnesium water before bed. Within a week, her morning readings improved. Her sleep deepened. She woke less frequently at night. The magnesium was helping her insulin work better, even while she was completely unaware. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 73 when we met, and I could see the defeat in her eyes before she even sat down. She'd been diabetic for 18 years. Multiple medications, various diets, diabetes education classes. She knew carb counting better than most nutritionists, but her A1C had been creeping up steadily. It was now 8.4 and her doctor was talking about starting insulin. I feel like I've failed, she told me quietly. I've done everything right for 18 years, but my body keeps getting worse. Maybe this is just what happens. Her hydration was terrible. Maybe 3 or 4 glasses of water daily, coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon, but actual water, very little. I never feel thirsty, she explained, and I hate using the bathroom all the time. We started everything I've explained to you. Yes, the first week was adjustment, more bathroom trips, but her body adapted. 6 weeks later, she looked different, eyes brighter, skin better, smiling. My numbers have been the best in 5 years, she said, showing me her log. My average used to be 180 to 200. Now I'm consistently 140 to 160. My doctor actually reduced my medication, But it wasn't just numbers. I have energy again. Real energy. I started gardening again, something I'd given up completely. 3 months later, her A1C came back at 7.2, down from 8.4. You gave me my life back, she said through tears, with water, something that costs nothing. I wish someone had told me this 18 years ago. Margaret's story is exactly why I create these videos. There are thousands of people out there trying so hard, feeling defeated when sometimes the answer is simpler than anyone imagined. I want to challenge you to try this for 14 days, 2 weeks. Follow everything exactly. Morning water with sea salt and lemon first thing. Water before lunch and dinner. Proper intake spread throughout the day. Magnesium water before bed. Track your blood sugar during those 2 weeks. See for yourself if the numbers improve. Pay attention to how you feel, energy levels, mental clarity, sleep quality. If after 2 weeks you see improvement, make this your permanent routine. If this information helped you understand what's been happening with your blood sugar, subscribe to this channel because we talk about what almost nobody explains with clarity. We break down the mechanisms that actually matter instead of just giving you general advice that doesn't work. Leave a comment about what you noticed during your 2 weeks. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to give this a try. Small changes done consistently create real results. Take care of yourself.